my coffee, excuse me, waiter. But there's a ukulele in my coffee, I do declare. Cause it's breakfast with Bob.
And Poncho Man, everybody. Welcome back to Breakfast with Bob from Kona at Huggo's on the Rocks. My name is Bob Babbitt. Brought to you by Master Spas, SFuels, right fuel, right time. HOKA, Fly Human Fly, Deboer, Wetsuits, Quintana, and our Challenged Athletes Foundation, two-time XTERRA World Champion Bradley Weiss joins us. How you doing, Bradley?
Yeah, great. Good to be back in Kona, back in Hawaii. Got some happy memories here. So even walking off the plane, it was, really just kind of a nostalgic feeling at this point in my career. So yeah, great to be back and look forward to the weekend.
So you're a rookie.
I raced Kona in 2022
yes.
for the first time. I'm a rookie to Breakfast with Bob here.
Yeah, you're a rookie here because we chatted last year at Nice.
Correct.
And leading into the World Championships there, you did a lot of training with three-time Ironman World Champion Jan Frodeno to try to get ready for that race. A lot of times when you train with someone like that, you learn a lot because, the guy's the best. What did you learn from training with him back then?
Yeah, it was a very, very special time in my career, and it's just very fortuitous that we ended up in Andorra where Jan was based. And yeah, he was super welcoming, very friendly. He's just a super nice guy and always willing to help. And yeah, I was going to be based in Andorra for 6 months leading into the Ironman World Championships in Nice last year. And of course, that is a course that really excited me. A lot of elevation gain on the bike and just a lot of elements that really suit me as an athlete. But yeah, having the opportunity to train with Jan was really special. It was his final year of racing professional triathlon, and I learned a lot and look back on the time very fondly.
At the Ironman World Championships last year when we were in Nice, you got some silly penalty or something on an uphill, a drafting. There was a few of those out there last year.
Yeah, unfortunately, the dynamic of riding a bicycle up climbs, the drafting zones are a little bit more tricky to navigate. The race had actually blown apart quite significantly at that point. We were all the way at the top of the main climb of the day, and Magnus, Dietlev, and myself were probably about 5 minutes away from the top of that climb. And Magnus had got a small gap on Rudy and I, and I decided that I didn't really want him to go over the top of the climb with a gap, otherwise there would be no catching him once he hits the flat. So I put a bit of a surge in to close up to him, and got to what I assumed was 12 meters. And unfortunately, we were going around a bit of a switchback hairpin at 12% gradient, and the referee deemed I was too close. So I'm really grateful that we have Race Ranger now this weekend, and it's just a system that we as athletes can see the gap as well as the referees, because I still believe that was an unfair penalty. But it is what it is, and I had to take it on the chin and managed to fight my way back to 7th, which I was pretty proud about.
Very impressive.
And yeah, look forward to going back in 2025, but have to navigate Kona on Saturday first.
And the Nice course, because of your size, is a great course for you, right? The run is flat, there's a lot of climbing. You're climbing with Magnus, and for a guy that big to climb that well, that had to be surprising.
Yeah, I was really, really impressed. I mean, I'm not really impressed about these guys anymore. They're
amazing.
They're amazing athletes, and they can do it all. But at the same time, I knew it was a course that played to my strengths, and I think Magnus even mentioned when he was here with you that he was having to ride that climb at 400 watts, and I could sit at 300. I'm 400 watts lower than him. So from an energy conservation point of view, it's a course that suits me quite well, and I have a bit more in the tank for the marathon than the bigger guys. But yeah, I mean, I really enjoy the fact that the World Championship now has got different features, and Laura Philipp won this year, and it was great to see an athlete like her who is an all-round triathlete can win a World Championship. Not that she can't win here in Kona. I think this course also can suit her quite well. But yeah, it's good to see different courses and different aspects challenging the athletes at World Championship level. How
do you train differently for this course rather than Nice?
So for Nice, I was based in Andorra. The climbing there is very steep. You're pretty much either going up or down. I enjoy being based at altitude regardless of the course that we're going to be racing on, particularly for the swim. The swim is probably my Achilles heel of the three disciplines. So if I can have a good swim, and that is what happened in Nice, I managed to make the front swim pack of 8 or 9 of us, and that really set the day up for me. And I hope to do the same this weekend. I think there's going to be a very big swim pack this weekend. It seems like everybody can swim now, besides a handful of guys who will be off the back. But it's going to be a very competitive and congested race up front. And hopefully I can set the day up for a good race this weekend.
And I mean, you swim is a weakness. You swam 47.55. that says something about the sport.
Exactly. Yeah. No, the sport has progressed so much in all three disciplines, and you just can't afford to have a weakness anymore. And I think the guys who do have a weakness this weekend are going to really struggle to bridge the gap. And it's not to say they can't do it, but it's just you're really up against it if you're going to be 4 or 5 minutes back. So I certainly can't give up that kind of time. I think even if I'm a minute or 90 seconds down from the lead group, that's pretty much going to be my chances at a podium gone. But if I can make it onto the bike in contention, I know I can ride really well, at least competitively against them if I'm with the group. And then the back end marathon in the heat here in Kona is something that really excites me as well. Being a smaller guy, that then the pendulum sort of swings back in my favor there. And hopefully I can be doing some damage coming back on the Queen K. So
what really matters is getting off the bike in a position where you can move yourself up to, and what would be the goal? Yeah,
absolutely. It's very much sort of it's similar tactics to Patrick Lange, and I think that's a good athlete for me to kind of key off of for the day. More than likely, both of us can make that front swim pack on our day, and then it's a case of boxing smart and playing your cards correctly on the bike and not burning too much, knowing that you have a really good opportunity to do some damage on the marathon. And if I'm within 5 minutes of the podium coming off the bike, then it's all to play for.
I think it's a lot more tactical here than in Nice because you're so spread apart on that bike course. Here you might have 15 guys all legally sitting in one, and then it's so hard because you can't pass 15 people at one time. It becomes okay. I sort of got to sit and make sure that nobody gets away, but I also don't want to burn any matches doing anything silly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in Nice, after receiving my 5-minute penalty, I think
it was about 5 minutes.
It was a 5-minute draft.
Oh my God! And you still got 7th. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So I went into the penalty tent. I was in 3rd position at the time. Sam Laidlow and Clement Mignon were off the front.
Yes.
And I got a little bit of a gap on Magnus and Rudy, and I went into the penalty tent, and I was in 3rd place. And I thought that by the time I started riding again, I was going to be in 35th place,
right.
By the time I started actually pedaling again. And it was amazing to see how the grace had just blown apart. I think when I started riding, I was still in like 13th.
That's great.
And then proceeded to ride way too hard for the next hour. Just such a big adrenaline surge. Obviously a lot of anger. And I knew that I was on a good day. So rode way too hard for the next hour, and I paid for that towards the back end of the bike. I look forward to going back there and having a cleaner race. But you're right, the course in Nice lends itself to splitting apart and being more of a solo race, which I prefer. Whereas here in Kona, it's a lot more tactical, and as you say, it's going to be a big group up front. The main chase group, I would say, could be like 20, 25 guys. And if you accidentally roll into the drafting zone and then forced to pass a big group like that, it's going to be could be the end of your day. It might be worthwhile just to take the drafting penalty and back out and take a rest at some point.
Exactly.
Because trying to pass a group of 15 will almost be impossible at some points of the race.
The other part of the Nice course, which I felt you and Braden Curry were so set up for, was the downhills, the technical, what Sebastian Kienle called the road furniture, the speed bumps, all the different stuff out there. From my interview with both of you guys last year, I was like, this is a real bike course. This is something that, coming from an XTERRA World, I love this.
Yeah, absolutely. That dynamic feature of the bike course in Nice is something that I really enjoy. And I think it also just some other athletes, it brings a lot of anxiety to them. So they then kind of accidentally slow themselves down by almost being too cautious through those sections. And where if you're a confident bike rider, then you can be a bit more aggressive going through those sections. And we definitely made up a lot of time, and it was great to ride with Rudy, who knows the area so well.
Yes.
And unfortunately, once I had to serve my penalty and I lost that group, I definitely lost a bit of that momentum that they had. But yeah, it was great at the time to share some of the course with him. So
the other thing you did last year, which is pretty cool, you got to do Ironman World Championships and Challenge Roth in the same year. And you got 6th at Roth, and it's such a different, the fact that you can do something like Nice and get, even with a penalty, get 7th, and Challenge Roth and get 6th, just shows how versatile you are. That doesn't really matter what the hell's out there, you're going to be able to handle it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the race in Roth is a lot more similar to here in Kona. It's a flat time trial specific course, which the majority of our triathlon races are these days. You know,
Right.
it's very heavy time trial focused, and it is favoring the bigger guys who've got a lot of power on the flats. And it's good to see that I can do well on a course like that as well. Ultimately, we still have to run a marathon at the back end of the day, and that's one of my strengths and something that I really look forward to. So yeah, hopefully I'm in contention come Saturday that I can do have a good run.
And was it your dad that got you into this stuff back in the day?
Yeah, so my dad just decided to. I have two brothers. I'm the middle of three brothers, and my dad just decided to sign us up for a triathlon.
Sort of out of nowhere.
Yeah, just our local sort of regional championships, and went and did a sprint distance triathlon on a mountain bike on the road, and we were complete rookies, but yeah, I just really loved it and enjoyed the atmosphere. And I must say, like, coming back here and doing a triathlon, it's very similar to what we have back home in South Africa, you know, very beach vibe.
Yes.
It's quite nostalgic for me, and yeah, I look forward to participating along with a lot of really excited age groupers out there. It's great to see the energy here on the island. I think everyone's really stoked to be back in Kona, and yeah, hopefully can have a few more races here in Kona for the rest of my career.
Did you win that first race?
Absolutely not. No, I think I was lost. No, actually, I was not lost. I beat my brothers, and that was
there. You go.
And that was like the
that was it,
bit of
right?
incentive that I needed. Like, I must be good at this if I can beat them.
Yeah. So, but you started in XTERRA. That was really your two-time world champion. But one of the issues with XTERRA, it's really hard to make a living, right? It's a lot of travel, and the prize money isn't huge. Is that what led to moving to the road?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, XTERRA is great, and if there was the financial security,
you'd still be there.
I would probably still be racing XTERRA.
Yeah.
It's definitely the format of triathlon racing that I really enjoyed the most, and just the dynamic courses and riding a mountain bike is what I'm really passionate about. But at the same time, I did get into the triathlon scene in like the non-drafting Olympic sort of distance, and it's definitely something that drew me towards doing a full Ironman at some point, not necessarily competing as a professional, but it was something that I would love, that I really aspired to do. So I think at some point in my career I was always going to transition across to the road, but once I got into the thick of XTERRA racing, I really wanted to try and win that world title, and after winning my second XTERRA world title in 2019, decided to make the transition across firstly to the middle distance, and I did my first middle distance race in 2019, and then I said, no ways, I would never even be able to finish a full. But one thing led to another, and eventually I did tick off the box, and here we are.
Well, in that 2019, what were you, 9th in the 70.3 Worlds in Nice?
Yeah, exactly. That Nice course is quite, it's good to me.
1:12 half marathon.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's definitely... I really look forward to racing 70.3 World Champs next year in Marbella.
Yeah.
We're going to Spain. I've raced there before. It's a similar course to Nice, lots of climbing on the bike. And I swim in the Mediterranean. It's very salty water there, so there's a lot of buoyancy in the water, which it definitely favors a slightly weaker swimmer. The same thing with Nice, and it was probably one of the reasons why I could make it. So I do look forward to swimming here. It's similar type of conditions. You know, we have very salty, buoyant water, which definitely helps.
I love it. So the goal for this weekend, you're thinking?
I think a top 10 is definitely possible.
Yeah.
And top 5 is probably like a best case scenario.
Right.
But I just want to do my best, you know. And if that means I'm in contention for a podium, I'm going to be giving everything I've got. If that means I'm racing for 13th, I'm still going to be giving everything I've got, you know. There's no world where I'm just going to throw in the towel and give up. So yeah, we're going to be battling all the way to the finish, and just hopefully I'm high enough up there that I am actually racing for a good spot on the podium. And also the Ironman Pro Series, I'm currently ranked 5th in that series, so
yes.
I'm trying to defend a top 5 there as well. So yeah, just look forward to getting out there. I feel very fit and healthy and strong at the moment, so look forward to seeing what I can do out there.
I love the fact that we have the Pro Series, because now there's, you know, you obviously everyone wants to win the overall, but at the same time there's a race within a race. You got to think about where the other guys are, who are, you know, first, second, actually all in the top 10, because this is a bigger points race, so somebody else could come by you and you can move yourself up in the top 3.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it definitely, the campaign is, you know, every second matters, and it couldn't be more true here. So even if you are having a slightly rougher day, it's still going to pay off in the end to really give it your all and fight all the way to the finish line, and see sort of where the points. I think this weekend will dictate a lot of how the series is going to end.
Right.
But there's a lot of guys out there who still only have like 3 scores on the board, so they're going to definitely be jumping up after this weekend. And yeah, just hopefully I can stay in the mix for a good finish in the series.
Love it. Bradley, thank you for always being so generous with your time. It's always a treat to chat with you. Good luck on Saturday.
Thanks so much for having me.
Poncho Man, take us out.
There's a ukulele in my coffee, excuse me, waiter. But there's a ukulele in my coffee, I do declare. Plus it's breakfast with Bob. Cheers.
Poncho Man.